So, since Spider-Man Homecoming is going to be released pretty soon, I thought I would give my thoughts on all the other Spider-Man movies, the good and bad. Also, spoiler alert for all these movies, but there are times to my reviews of these movies in the description, unless I forgot to write them in the description, because I tend to do that. Alright, let's just get right into this. So, Spider-Man from 2002. This movie is what really kicked off the superhero movie industry and showed that superhero movies can be really big and be profitable. It's also just a really good, yet cheesy movie. First off, this movie has a really great cast. Tobey Maguire is great, even if he doesn't look like a teenager at all. The rest of the supporting cast is also really good, especially James Franco, he's great in this. I know a lot of people say that William Dafoe is over the top in this, and he is, but he's still great and really entertaining. The action and effects are great, especially for the time. A lot of the action still holds up 15 years later. Also, there's a lot of good drama between the characters. I'm not a fan of love triangles in movies, but this movie actually does it really well. As for the negatives, there are some very dated and cheesy moments, but some of those cheesy moments are amazing. For example, when these guys get turned into skeletons. It's stupid and doesn't make any sense, but I just love that part so much. Overall, Spider-Man is a classic superhero movie, and I'm giving it an 8.3 out of 10. Now this is where things get amazing. Spider-Man 2 is not only an amazing superhero movie, but it's also just a great movie on its own. Once again, the cast is fantastic. Tobey Maguire, James Franco, Kirsten Dunst, and even Rosemary Harris as Aunt May are great and probably even better than they were in the first movie. And of course, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson really gets to shine in this one. He's just hilarious. Alfred Molina is also great as Doc Ock. Unlike the Green Goblin, this guy is actually a good person and believes he's doing something that can actually help a lot of people, which really makes a great villain. The action is also cranked up a lot in this. It's even better than the first movie, and the train fight is just amazing. And I would say all the effects still hold up. My only negative is the movie's pacing. Sometimes it does drag a bit to show character development and drama, which is all still really interesting, but other times there's a montage of what could be a month or a year going by, and I couldn't really tell the time span of when the movie was taking place. That said, this is a phenomenal superhero movie, and I'm giving it a 9.4 out of 10. Okay, I have some unpopular opinions on this movie. Spider-Man 3 may not be great, but it really isn't as bad as a lot of people say it is. Most of the performances are great once again, especially the addition of Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman. Also, J.K. Simmons is once again incredible. The action is also really good, even if some of the effects don't look that great. Where the movie fails is the story. There is just so much going on. There's Peter wanting to marry Mary Jane. There's Norman Osborn trying to avenge his father and then losing his memory. There's Sandman wanting to help his daughter. There's Norman Osborn interfering with Peter's relationships. There's Peter Parker doing a dance. There's Gwen Stacy. There's Peter Parker doing another dance. There's Eddie Brock becoming Venom. There's Venom and Sandman teaming up. There's Norman Osborn's death. It's just too much. Sam Raimi tried his best, but he just couldn't make this as good as the other two. That said, I do think the positives outweigh the negatives, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Okay, here comes some more unpopular opinions. Like Spider-Man 3, this movie is really not as bad as a lot of people say. I think it's just that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was such a failure that people think the same about the first one, but it's actually a pretty decent movie. It does have some problems, but there are also some great things about it. First off, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are really great in it and have some really great chemistry. The action and effects are actually really good, and the lizard looks fantastic. The scene where Spider-Man saves a kid from a burning car is probably the best scene in the movie and really demonstrates how heroic Spider-Man's character is. There's a lot of really good dialogue, and you actually end up caring about the characters. As for the negatives, Peter Parker is sort of a complete stalker in this. Also, the Lizard's plan is super generic. It was already done in Batman 89, X-Men, and Batman Begins. Also, the lizard gas he was releasing had a temporary effect anyway, so the stakes weren't really that high. But that's about it. The Amazing Spider-Man is still a solid movie, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Now this is where everything went downhill. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not a great movie, at all. Now even though I don't exactly like the movie, I don't hate it either, and there are some redeeming qualities. First off, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are still great, along with some of the rest of the supporting cast, and the action scenes are pretty fun and entertaining, and Gwen's death is a pretty tragic scene. But that's about all the good stuff in this movie. As for the bad stuff, this has the same problems as Spider-Man 3, but they're amplified. There are so many characters that each have their own subplots that this feels like it's 4 different movies edited together into one. This movie also sets up sequels and spin-offs that we're never gonna get, and it's quite obvious that the filmmakers were just making up what happened to Peter's parents as they went along. There's even a deleted scene where it was revealed that Peter's father was alive. If that isn't definitive proof that the filmmakers had no idea what they were doing, I don't know what is. So yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 isn't that good. It's a jumbled mess of a movie. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Okay, now to rank the Spider-Man movies from best to worst. At number 5, or basically the worst Spider-Man movie, it would have to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 4 is Spider-Man 3, number 3 is The Amazing Spider-Man, number 2 is Spider-Man from 2002, and number 1, the best Spider-Man movie to date, is Spider-Man 2. Anyway, that's how I'd rank the Spider-Man movies. Thanks for watching, remember to like this video, I'd really appreciate it, leave a comment and subscribe for more videos like this one.